So let's be here. Let's breathe. And release. Settle into that chair you're sitting in. Let the chair hold you. Just like we let spirit hold us. And as the chair holds you, let's breathe again. And release a little more deeply into that knowing that we get to do that. We get to release. We get to let go of whatever the burden might be that we brought here with us today. And one more time in. And one long breath out. As we cast those cares out to the ethers, out to the energy that we know is there, that can pick up those cares and release us of that burden. And as we feel ourselves get just a little bit lighter, and we feel those burdens easing, we also feel them shifting. And in the shift, they become opportunities instead of burdens. They become chances to be all who we are. They become chances to more fully express our own divinity. They become chances to acknowledge in greater depth our own power, our own divine power, as we connect deeper with the divinity that is us and with the divinity all around us. So as we acknowledge that field of divinity in which we swim, let's take that knowing into a couple of minutes of silence. As we return to this place and time, we bring with us the peace of the place where we just were. And we acknowledge everyone today who is unable to be with us, either due to travels or illness or whatever is going on with their lives. And we hold the divine peace and power for them as well. With that, we give thanks for all that is, and we say, Amen.
Amen. Hi. There you go. My little gadget. It's on. Thank you.
So, this morning, we're going to focus some of our energy on this idea of help us grow. I was introduced to this idea of a hug Sunday, right? Help us grow Sunday. by another expansion minister. She's in Illinois with a church in Greater Chicago. And she said periodically they do this just to help everybody remember where we've come from, right? What we've grown out of and where we're headed. So that's what this morning is about. So here's a question, right? Why do we want to grow? I know I've talked to some ministers who, as they grow, that's okay. Actually, I was glad it was there because I almost lost my balance a little bit. And I leaned against
Okay, that's what it's for.
I was sick all week, a week ago, and I find I'm still this week getting my focus and my energy and everything kind of back again. So I still feel a little bit not totally here sometimes. So this question comes up, why do we want to grow? I know I've talked to ministers who've actually gotten in turmoil in their churches because they've decided, the leadership group, the minister have decided they want to grow, and some of the church members are going, we kind of like our little group, right? We kind of like our little group where we know everybody, where we're familiar with everybody. We're not sure we really want to grow. And I can relate to that because we've had some people, in fact, here at Unity of Payson who've come from their experience at Unity of Phoenix going, oh, I like this so much better because we connect with people and we can know people. So we're kind of in this question of, but why do we want to grow? So here's a few answers. Actually, I'm going to ask you to give me some answers. Why do we want to grow?
Spiritual growth.
Our own spiritual growth, right? I got ahead of myself with my picture, with my big clue up there. Right? Our own individual spiritual growth. Why else might we want to grow?
To share love.
To share love, to share who we are, to share what this church is.
To do it together.
To do it together. To do it in a group together. Other things.
That's why we get our lessons, is from everybody else. We have to keep the lessons coming or else we don't grow.
We get our lessons from other people lots of times, don't we? From connecting and telling each other stories, from that catalyst of being with people, absolutely.
A place of acceptance.
A place of acceptance, to share this place of acceptance with other people who might not feel that in their lives, absolutely. Other things you can think of, why might we want to grow?
So we have more space.
So we can have more space and fill that space. Yes, and fill that space with people of all ages, right? A real intergenerational group. So here's another reason we might want to grow. We adopt the highway right out here, as luck would have it, right in front of us, down to where Fletcher's was and recently closed again, and both sides of the street. So there's our sign. If you've never seen our sign, it's on the highway out here. One coming from Star Valley and another one going this direction. So there's another reason we can grow, right? That we can do more in this community as we grow. And there's our highway cleanup group from last month. When we started this 2 years ago, we routinely had 5 or 6 full bags in this stretch. We never have that much trash anymore. It's like, it's having an impact. It's having a greater impact. We're not just picking up trash. There's less there to be picked up. So we only have 3 bags. And it only takes us an hour or even less sometimes. So we can do more. We can do more like this. We already give to the food pantry, right? We do that the first Sunday of every month. This year, we contributed to the Beeline Cruise-In because we learned, and this is the little, the plaque and the thank you and so forth they gave us. By contributing, yes, we got some publicity in the newspaper. We also got publicity at the event. And our contribution went towards scholarships. That's where their funds go toward, is scholarships. So there's something that we do that, yeah, we'd like to do more of that. Absolutely, to have more of an impact in our community. We also had a table this year for the first time at the Women's Health Forum. So we were there with our sign, right, saying Unity of Payson. We're here, and in fact, one of the organizers connected with us afterwards, and she said, I wanted to have a session on women and spirituality. And I said, I'd be happy to work with you on that next year. So it's those kinds of impacts that we want to be able to have more of in this community. Go into the world and do well, but more importantly, go into the world and do good. right? So why do we want to grow? Absolutely, for all of those reasons. Many of you probably know that the books of Romans, Corinthians, Colossians were Paul's letters to churches, helping churches establish and grow. And this is one of his pieces of advice. Bless you, Zoya. Each of us must please our neighbor for the good purpose of building up our neighbor. This is the kind of advice he was giving churches. And please our neighbor, that doesn't necessarily mean do anything you can to get them to like you, right? But it's the next part of this sentence. For the good purpose of building up our neighbor. And don't we want to be able to do more of that in Payson as a church community? So the question, right, why grow? So what can I do? I'm going to tell you 4 simple things, and then we're going to move around a little bit and talk to each other. Here's one thing you can do. Safeway. How many of you shop at Safeway? Okay. Do you have a Safeway club card? Okay. If you already have a Safeway club card, all you need to do is go into the customer service desk, or you can bring with you one of these forms, and what they want to know is this number right here. That's Unity of Payson's number. And it's on this form right here. If you go in with that number will connect to your club card, and every time you shop and use your club card, a percentage of what you spend comes right back to Unity of Payson. And we get a check every month. And we love to see that check grow. Right? Because it's pretty painless if you shop there already. And if you've got a club card, you're going to get discounts that not everybody else might get. Okay, so there's one very simple thing you can do. So if you aren't right now using your club card for Unity Payson, I want you to take one of these or one of these with you after church. Okay, simple thing to do. The next thing, how many of you shop at Bashes? Okay, I go both places. I go back and forth. Do you have one of those already? A few of us have one of those. If you don't, there's a sign up in the back, and they just refer to this as their gift card. And this is a little different from Safeway. You need to charge it up. So when you're going through checkout, every month or so, I give them my credit card, and I say, please put another $100 on my gift card. And then whenever I shop at Bashes, I use that card, because that card sends a percentage of whatever you spend back to Unity of Payson. And again, we get a check every month. So it's those kinds of simple things. Now, the other thing you can do is make sure you can tell people about this, right? I've talked to people up here. They use their Safeway club card with another organization that's not necessarily even in Payson, but it's an organization that's dear to their heart. So you can tell anybody, anywhere they live in the country, that they can do this and share our Safeway number with them, and it will come right back to us. And then here's a question that I've been running into a lot in the last month or so with the spiritual leader webinars and those kinds of things I've been going to is, have you remembered your Unity Church in your estate? Now some of us are like, whoa, I don't want to think about that. But you know, in the last year, I actually finally had an attorney put together a real will for me, a real one that talks about what goes on with my estate when I pass. It's something none of us really want to think about, but it's going to happen to all of us, right? It's going to happen. So just that simple question, have you remembered Unity of Payson in your estate? I read a story about a family who decided to give some stock to their church because they realized if they sold the stock and gave the proceeds to their church, the church would have to pay 30% of it in taxes. But instead, they were like, oh, well, let's just give the stock instead, okay? So, you know, it's again, just one of those questions. And then, Zoya mentioned space. Here's something we can all do. We can hold the acknowledgement of space. We've been in this space now for 2.5 years, and we're starting to feel like it's time for something else, for something that's more ours, for something we don't have to fold up on Sunday afternoon, a place where we have room for youth, a place maybe where we have a small space designated for a meditation space, right? Where we can become more of this organization that we want to become. So this is the very simple guidance we came out of our last leadership meeting with, that we can all hold at least 2 rooms for youth, 2 bathrooms, right? We're growing. Space outside where we can meet easily and have coffee and so forth. A somewhat larger sanctuary, an entrance foyer,
and a kitchen or an amenable kitchen space. Okay, so we can hold this in our consciousness, and we can mention it to people. Just mention it in passing. And we'd love to be able to share space with another organization and work that out so it's a win-win. So these are 4 kind of concrete ways that we can go, okay, any of these, holding them even in our consciousness and taking these actions. So who or what is a church? Right? So when we talk about growth, what are we really talking about? Our own growth as individuals and as this group. And Betty's going to say a couple words right now about Unity of Payson in her life.
Yeah, well, I moved up here 2 years ago, even though I've been coming up to the mountains since '72. And used to go to Unity of Phoenix. And when I moved up, there was this emptiness, and I really wanted a spiritual community again. And so I was thrilled that I found Unity up here. And maybe because it was smaller and more intimate or whatever, I felt for the first time ever that I really wanted to volunteer. Down at Unity of Phoenix, it was so big, it was like, oh, I don't want to volunteer, it's responsibility, and I don't have time, and all of those considerations I had to kind of go inside and look at, and that just wasn't the case up here. I wanted to help, I wanted to contribute, and it's been really fulfilling. And then the other thing was, in the move, I had to look at changing all of my charitable donations. I used to have 5 or 6 charities that I gave to down in the valley. And so in order to double what I wanted to give up here, I had to look at that. And so I moved a couple of those charities donations up here, gave a couple of them away so that I could restructure without a huge financial burden what I wanted to give to Unity up here in order to help it grow. And it has made such an internal difference in my life to feel connected and have found all of you, I'm gonna cry. All of you really open-hearted people, just what our vision statement says. So thank you all for your energy and your love and for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Betty. And other people, one-on-one, have told me similar stories, right? That this is a place that Unity of Payson has become for them. Now, I just want to remind us of a couple of things. Betty just mentioned our vision. We are a welcoming and open-hearted community living in spiritual transformation through unity principles. Let's all say that together.
We are a welcoming and open-hearted community living in spiritual transformation through unity principles.
And you know what's so fantastic about this vision is we just put this together about 6 weeks or 2 months ago. A number of people stayed after church on a Sunday and we brainstormed business about vision, and then Betty and Donna and Faith and I met afterwards and hammered it into this sentence. And I love this sentence. It means something to me. The other part of this whole visioning process, there were 3 other questions. And one was about what we need to release. So we discussed that too. And this is what we put together from what everyone said. That we need to release fear, judgment, and hesitation, old habits and past stories, and belief in lack, limitation, and appearances. That we need to release these things. And you know, part of what's interesting to me about this process, it's such a unity process. It's denials and affirmations. This is a series of denials, saying we release this stuff. And to live the vision, we embrace strength, joy, and love, life and growth, community along with individuality, and a visible center of spiritual teaching, learning, and support that is active in the community. And the third piece of this was to empower this vision. What do we become? Accepting and inclusive, fearless, authentic, trusting, and open to possibilities. And that's really big right now as we consider space. What are the possibilities? generous, committed, involved, open to both giving and receiving, being in that flow, giving to the community and receiving from the community. And again, visible and active. So right now we're coming back to this, who or what is a church? We are, and I'm going to give one of these to each of you. And everybody's got a pen. Whoops, let me take one. Whoop, there. I think you've still got two. No, you've got two. Give me one. Here you go. Here you go. Okay. Oh, you just want it on. Oh, there you go. I'm going to give you a little wad and let you send those around. Stand it up. And this one. Okay, this is a little scavenger hunt because we're going to talk to each other for a few minutes this morning. So in the context of being a welcoming and open-hearted community, living in spiritual transformation through Unity principles, here's what you get to do. Choose any 3 or 4 items in the right-hand column that fit you. Just 3 or 4. So just take a quick scan. Come on in. There's another youth. So just take a quick scan of those items in the right hand and pick 3 or 4 that fit you. And if they need to be completed, go ahead and complete it. Maybe you invite growth of something in your life. Maybe you're open to the possibility that a certain thing will occur in your life. Pick 3 or 4, fill in the blank, follow? Fill in the blank if there's a blank, and then you can write your name across from it in the left-hand column. Because that's one you've picked for yourself, okay? I need to do this too. And when you have your own 3 or 4 items, you can start moving around because just as with any scavenger hunt, you want to fill it in, right? And you've still got some blanks. So you get to find the people to help you fill in your scavenger hunt. Okay, so that means we need to talk to each other possibly. Okay, what can I write you down for? You don't have any of these? Oh, that's... What do you invite growth of? Nothing? You don't want to grow? I have to grow. Okay. Okay, find something where you can put your name, because people are going to want to put your name somewhere. So find one. Okay. How can I put you down? Yeah. Which item? Oh, tell me one. One B. Okay. You release your judgment of
Yes,
TV?
and bad news.
Oh, you release your judgment of bad news.
We just.
Okay? What can I give you? I'll give you number 3. I take joy in each day.
Yes, each day. I've got our lives together.
So you've already got something. What do you need to fill in? Tell me what.
1A, 1C, 2, 4, 3.
I play my strength.
I have that one, I clear my strength.
Yeah, so you
You
can
have
do
one,
my
two, so you got it done number 2.
I did. Okay.
Thank you.
Olivia, it's so nice to meet you. So is there something?
Are we all supposed to go around and do what she's doing? No?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Oh, well, Olivia was.
Which one do you have that I've been reading?
Okay.
And I think you should and open to the possibility that movement will Which one can you give me?
I can give you my feelings. I'm not having to go, basic about Monday.
Chris, which one can you give me? What do I need?
You only have to do 4.
Yeah, I need number 5 and 7. 7, 9.
You need that 8.
Give me 2 or 3.
It strengthens the self-awareness.
I've got bad news.
Okay, Cameron, which one can you give me? Okay, number 1 here.
Okay. Oh, you're not, girl, we gotta get you going here.
Yes.
Do you have number 4? Oh, no, I have number 4.
No, I don't.
I'm doing
You have 4? And my growth of his.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, and your initials are XP.
I'm gonna put your name down.
That's right.
And then try to find people.
Number 9. Oh, yay! Okay, we're putting something
You're
down
at
for 9.
9.
Because I got a fun name.
So that's.
What kind of games do you guys like? Well, I got this kind of book. It's called
Oh, yeah.
and it has those like numbers. Yeah.
My son does the like the genius and stuff at night. Yeah. To make you go to sleep. And I said, oh my God, that would hurt my brain if I was trying to go to sleep. Trying to do all those numbers.
You have a blanket, you want something that I have. What you got judgment I recently released, gonna do release now. Legend of TV.
Yeah, okay, that means we need some for you because I have number 9.
No, they got all this stuff. The other guy, young fellow went off. He killed fellows that wouldn't date him because they wouldn't date him. You heard that?
No.
Yeah, the high school. He was angry with them. My name is June.
Just this week, I acted on That's what she said.
I got a bunch. So big, I can't get out.
Mommy, I
Got one for me?
Yeah.
Which one? Well, Betty just gave me, you'd given her 8, 9, the Sudoku game.
Yeah.
And you also wrote something down for number 4. I invite growth of what?
I invite girls like happiness.
Oh, that's so nice. Go ask somebody, just one. Get one from somebody.
I did. I got
Get one from Bob. Right now, I want you to walk over to him. I want you to walk over and sit next to him and ask him to give you one. Ask
playing my favorite.
Oh, I'm all good. I got myself.
Yeah, I got like a book. It's like a Sudoku. Sudoku things.
Growth.
And so I got it yesterday.
We can always grow. With these examples, Marianne was
So did you learn something about someone you didn't know before?
Sure.
Yeah?
Sure.
Did you learn something about yourself maybe even? That you had to ask yourself, what am I releasing? Or what do I want to release? What fear do I want to release? Right?
That was easy.
It was easy. And I don't know if you noticed, but these all came right out of this vision information, right? It's all an application of what do we want to release, what are we ready to embrace, and what do we need to do to empower this vision. This is a vision of Unity of Payson, but it's not just Unity of Payson, is it? It's each one of us. It's each one of us in our own lives. And that's how it becomes Unity of Payson's vision. Because it's ours as individuals, and these are things we can act on. This month we've been emphasizing, for the 12 powers, we've been emphasizing the 5th power, the power of power, which is really the power of energy, of putting things into motion. And that's exactly what we're doing here. As we contemplate what is Unity of Payson's vision, how can we help Unity of Payson grow? And in doing that, how do we grow ourselves? That's just raw power. That's raw energy at work in our own spiritual community and in our own spiritual lives. So I thank you for taking a little time this morning for doing this together and talking to each other a little bit, perhaps learning something, connecting with someone that you maybe don't always connect with. Because this is also how we're going to grow, is build those relationships among each other and just keep strengthening those. So thank you so much. And let's take this into our next song.